Hello and welcome to this edition of 101 with Montgomery County Executive Ike Leggett. I'm Lorna Virgili and thank you for joining us. Hello, Mr. Leggett. How are you?
Very well. How are you doing today?
Summertime! Anything special? What are you doing this summer?
Well, lots of meetings, lots of conventions and family reunions, but not anything beyond the typical that we generally have throughout the summer. So
You're going to be able to relax just a bit?
not too much. It's quite a busy summer. Not enough things that will keep you quite interested and quite busy throughout the summer.
Let's talk about the fiscal year 2019 operating budget, which was approved by County Council. What is your first reaction about the approval of the budget?
Well, first I'd like to thank the council for completing the budgetary process, the council staff, as well as the staff here at the executive staff, Council President Hans Riemer for his leadership. There are some differences that normally happen throughout this budgetary process, and I would note that there are a couple that I probably have some challenge with. First of all, there's about $14 million over and above the budget that I suggested. Now, when you look at a budget of $5.6 billion, that may sound like a relatively small amount, but keep in mind that a good part of the budget, because of education, maintenance of effort, debt service, you literally have a huge lock on a good portion of the budget that you have to fund to start with. And so when you go above, and you've done that over a number of years, that adds up because it builds into the base. And by that building into the base, and you look at how you'd overcome the disparities between resources and the needs that we have in the budget to try to fill those needs, it becomes an ongoing problem. And so we end up with some unattractive choices that I suggested would come to fruition last year as well as this year, i.e. you're threatened with whether or not to go deeper into our reserves, deal with OPEC payments, those kinds of things. And I just thought that given the uncertainty on the tax side, given the challenges that we face and adding permanent items in the budget, and we're we're facing those realities by paying for them with one-time revenues. It creates a problem. And so it's a cumulative effect of things that you look at. You don't look at the 14 million in isolation, but all of those things in combination.
When you say it creates a problem, what kind of problem are we talking about? And $14 million, what were those line items that they added?
Well, they're the combination of things. None of those things, all of those things I would say are things that everyone would probably want in terms of additional monies for some and fire rescue personnel, additional monies for some educational things, not education, but some of the other things outside of education. All of those, health and human services, all of those things are very good. No one will argue about the necessity for those things. The question is, how do you prioritize those things when you look at the overall budget of $5.6 billion and the challenges we have going forward? You simply cannot deal with a budget in 1 year. You have to deal with it over multiple years. So you look at the multiple year challenges, that's where I think we have the real problems going forward.
When you say reserves, did the council approve a budget that stays on track on reserves as you had perceived it?
Yes, we're on target to hit a 10% reserve number next year. That's the number that we've obligated ourselves with Wall Street, and it may sound a little bit high for some people, but we really can go through an awful lot of money very fast. We do not have any ongoing ability, I think, in the foreseeable future to raise taxes. Revenues will be short. We have a huge amount of budgetary items that we have to fulfill in the budget itself, and so not having that reserve, it will have a real huge effect on the county. And so the challenge that we face now are either looking at further reductions and or going into the reserves or dealing with our OPEC payments, which I think are not very attractive choices.
So was it cautious spending on the part of the council?
It wasn't cautious enough. Not only, again, you have to look at the multiple year effect, not just 1 year in isolation, because what happens, you continue to build into that budget. You have these ongoing obligations. You wake up and you look at this year. I said this year we would have a real challenge, and we've had a challenge. And the options that we've had in the past are no longer available to us the way we've accomplished some of the things in the past. For example, I reduced 10% of our workforce. I eliminated COLAs and salary adjustments and a number of other things. Unless you're prepared to deal with those, you're going to have some difficulties going forward. Unless, again, you could go on the revenue side and generate a great deal of revenue which is highly unlikely.
When it comes to public safety, education, of course, and affordable housing, you feel comfortable of that what you presented to County Council?
Oh, very much so, very much so. I think that we had prioritized things quite well. But the council can make other choices. That's their responsibility. I just simply said to them, make choices within the budgetary framework that we have, so that if you want to readjust some of those things for public safety or education or whatever it may be, I don't have any real challenge about that. My problem is you're constantly adding to that by going above the numbers, and that's where we have the dispute.
This is a budget that initially closed approximately $208 million gap, trying to keep the property tax rate at the chartered limit, and that's what stands still, correct?
Right. We had just a small adjustments on the taxes. Most of that related to the appreciation of the value of the properties that we have in the county. The average tax bill, I think, will go up about $27 a year. That's about $2.25 a month. You compare that to, say, for example, Fairfax County, that's 1/10 of the tax increase that people see in Fairfax County. And so when you look at taxes overall, we get a great deal of angst about it from our citizens. But if you look at the taxes per person in Montgomery County, the amount that people pay per salaries that they have in the county overall, it's actually down about 0.5% from the time that I started. So there's not been a great deal of tax increases. I will say this, though, in 1 year, the taxes went up extraordinarily high in 1 year, but if you look at it over a 12-year period, they really have actually gone down per expenditures and per income of average residents of Montgomery County.
You mentioned 12 years.
Well, let me also ask one other thing, the budget, before you get away from that. There was one other area that I had a real problem with, and that's in the challenges that the county presented on stormwater management. And I actually vetoed, a line item veto, which is fairly rare, and I vetoed that item because I just thought, A, it was intrusive, that impacted the relationship between the county executive and the council in a way that I thought it should not. It will really, in my opinion, potentially hurt the environment because we're not going to be able to do as much as we need to do. We need to be more efficient. It potentially has an increase to the taxpayers in Montgomery County. And for all of those reasons, I was just puzzled as to why the council would not, in fact, go along with the recommendation we made. So there was a 5-4 vote to support what the council wants to do. And so I've actually vetoed that item.
Right. We're going to talk about that, what that actually means, the impact. When we come back, we're going to take a short break, Mr. Leggett. And stay tuned. We'll be right back with Montgomery County Executive Ike Leggett.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
If you think someone might be considering suicide or drugs, be the one to help them by taking these 5 steps. Ask, keep them safe, be there, help them connect, follow up. If you're struggling, call Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK or the 24-hour crisis center at 240-777-4000. Be the one to help. Learn more at betheone.org.
I love taking care of my mom. It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs.
And you learned how to not ignore yours.
I discovered how to make healthier meals.
And I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
Welcome back to this edition of 101 with Montgomery County Executive Ike Leggett. I'm Lorna Virgili. Thank you for continuing to watch. Mr. Leggett, we're talking about the budget and the line item regarding stormwater management that you vetoed. What is going to be that impact then?
Well, the impact will be that will be eliminated from the budget, and unless the council could come up with a 6-vote supermajority to provide some other alternative, it'll be eliminated from the budget. I think that that's a preferable result than the one that I was presented based on the overall budget. And so, as far as I'm concerned at this point in time, it's eliminated. And so we'll have to start from scratch, and maybe the next county executive will come up with a different approach, but that will be next year.
You said next county executive, so I was going to ask you if this was your last operating budget in the county. 12 years of putting these things together. You don't have to do another one now. You can breathe a little bit from here to the end of the year. What would be your advice to the next county executive based on what you faced, the recession, the time in history that you faced as county executive, and finances in this county?
Well, first of all, I hope that the next county executive will not have the challenges that we've had. I had to govern during the worst recession since the Great Recession many, many years ago, and so that will be just difficult for anyone to manage. We made some very tough decisions through that process. I mentioned some of those earlier, but the decisions that we made, I think, proved to be the right ones because the county is much more sustainable. When I assumed office, we had a budgetary reserve of about 2.1%. Our revenues and reserves, dollar-wise, was down about 79%. Today, we have almost $500 million in financial reserves, and our overall budget numbers about 9.4%. That's a remarkable transformation over that period of time. We've funded a huge array of projects throughout the county, major projects in other areas that are unprecedented in many ways. We made some tough decisions to do all of that. Hopefully, if the next county executive maintains that level of discipline, understand that we have great ideas in the county, but unless you're able to have budgets that are sustainable, then much of that will not come to fruition. And so I would continue to urge that a great deal of attention be placed, number one, on budgetary sustainability. If you're able to do that, at least you're in the ball game. You're able to do some things positively going forward, but if you make mistakes on that, then the rest of it would be very, very difficult to accomplish.
Let's transition a little bit to politics, Mr. Leggett, since as we tape the show, we're just a few days away from the primary elections here in the state of Maryland. It is a historical election year that many candidates running for county council, also for the office that you occupy today. What is your hope for the county past June 26th?
Well, first of all, I hope that people...
November.
Well, I hope that people will come out and vote. This is a great county, a great state, a great country. But one of the things that we rely upon is the active participation of our residents and people who are here in Montgomery County to participate in the process. If you don't like what you see, you have an opportunity to change that. If you want to have new direction, you have an opportunity to change that, or at least to introduce that. And so I would urge people to get engaged and participate. Participate by understanding and knowing the many candidates that are out there. This year may be a little bit more unusual because there's so many candidates running for various offices, but they deserve your attention. We need your participation in the process in order to ensure that every voice is heard and everyone has an opportunity to participate in a process that I think is worthy of your time and effort. So that's the first thing. I would hope, though, so that from our candidates that we are much more positive. I've seen elements of some negative elements of campaigning in Montgomery County that heretofore probably not been there. So I hope that people will maintain a positive attitude. I've always tried to ensure that the campaigns that I run and people that I participate with, that they run positive campaigns about their virtues, what they want to do, how they would want to change the county and how they would want to move forward. Negative politics, in my opinion, will not provide us with the kind of insight and to be informed the way I think our residents have become accustomed to.
You have endorsed some candidates. I'm not going to ask you who you're going to vote for, but what would you like to see in the future here in Montgomery County when everything is said and done?
We have a broad county of 1.1 million residents, one of the most diverse in the entire nation, if not the nation. I would want to see a diverse level of people participating, from women to many of the ethnic and minority groups that are in the county. Everyone has an opportunity to participate, and I would urge that we do that. I would hope that we will have very positive campaigns going forth and that people will participate both at the local, state, and the national level, because we have an awful lot at stake here. And when you're complaining about many of the services and programs and you want to have a voice in, this is that opportunity, and I would hope that people will get engaged.
Let's transition a little bit from politics to a very emotional ceremony that took place just outside this building recently, the dedication of the Vietnam Memorial Wall right here in the annex between the courthouse and the government building in Montgomery County, remembering 130 service members from Montgomery County who served in Vietnam. You served in Vietnam as well. And this is, I feel like it's like a little bit of a farewell from you and also with the commission, and it was indeed an incredible event.
Yes, it was very incredible, very emotional. This is something that I wanted to do, and I thought that I needed to do it. So let's leave it at that, and I hope that people appreciate it.
The Homelessness 2018 Point in Time survey that was conducted back in January of this year, but we just received the results, and homelessness has decreased approximately 6% in the last year.
Well, it has, and it has because we put a great deal of time and energy and effort into making certain that we respond to some real challenges that are out there. The community of Montgomery County of 1.1 million residents, having the resources that we have, there is no justification for us to have the level of homelessness in our county. We have programs and services that can help people, and I would urge that our community get engaged so that we can better prepare our community to deal with the challenges we face.
Okay, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back,
Okay.
Mr. Leggett. Stay tuned.
Right.
Hey, mister, down here. You illegally passed the stop school bus. I'm placing you in timeout. And this timeout means big fines, plus you really could have hurt somebody. That's why school buses are being equipped with video cameras to help kids like me stay safe. So respect the bus.
Did you know there are more than 10,000 county government phone numbers? But there's only one number you need to remember for non-emergency calls, 311. MC311 is Montgomery County government's online telephone information system. Need information? Have a problem or complaint? Trying to locate a county government facility? Call 311. The call center is open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The website is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Welcome back to this edition of 101. I'm still here talking to Mr. Leggett. Mr. Leggett, you wanted to circle back about the Vietnam Memorial.
Yes, I did, because one of the things I wanted to emphasize was that the commission that I established some years ago really did an outstanding job. And one of my former colleagues and one of the persons that works for the county, Mike Subin, along with the commission, Betsy Lutkin and so many others, they did a terrific job of putting together, I think, a first-rate program, a memorial wall that I think really speaks to the county's priorities and how we value our veterans, especially those from the Vietnam era. I would urge that people come by to see it. I think that you will be moved by what we've established. Vietnam was a very tough war for many people because people served, and people have to realize that when people serve, these are very young people, many 18, 19, 20 years of age. They gave their lives, many were wounded, huge casualties on both sides, and a war for which I think when people return, They didn't return to parades. They didn't return to people having reception for them. They were in many ways disrespected. They were disrespected as opposed to some things that have happened in previous wars. So as a result of that, trying to pull the community together to reflect the sacrifices that have been made not only by the veterans, but also by their families as well. I felt duty bound, if you will, to make certain that we respected that. People may have had challenges with the war in Vietnam. I understand that. But I've always said you should find ways to separate the warrior from the war. Even though you may have had challenges with the war, there were brave men and women who gave a great deal, many of the ultimate sacrifice, and therefore you should respect that. And so what we've tried to do is to reflect that respect that we have for those who serve and their families.
This memorial will be part of your legacy as well, Mr. Leggett. You have welcomed a couple of separate delegations from Germany and the United Kingdom who have visited the county precisely to find out a little bit more as to what Montgomery County does to integrate immigrants at the local level in our community. What were those exchanges like with the Germans first and the British second?
Well, two things you need to keep in mind. That Montgomery County is one of the most highly decorated communities in all of America by the National Association of Counties. We receive tons of awards every year. And therefore, we are not only on a national level being recognized, but internationally as well. And so many delegations that come to the United States are coming to communities that are doing things that are on the cutting edge, communities that are quite progressive and innovative and creative in the kinds of things we do, from the environment to transportation to education. And so they want to either partner with Montgomery County or understand some of the things that we are doing. And so it's not unusual for us to have delegations that come to meet with us and to have a conversation and look at some of the things that we're doing in terms of policies and programs. So most recently, we've welcomed those from Germany, well as a delegation from Great Britain. Earlier in the year, we had people from Xi'an, China as well, Korea. There have been a host of delegations that have come, but they wanted to know how we are providing services to a diverse community. What are the challenges that we face and how do we deal with those challenges? They want to know how effective they can operate their governments, their municipalities in a way that provides inclusiveness, that reflects the diversity they have in their communities, but also providing services at a level that they can afford. And so we had a great deal of conversations about some of the things we were doing here in Montgomery County. And so we welcome both delegations from England as well as from Germany.
And this was a two-way conversation. Obviously, anything learned on our end?
Oh yes, yeah. I think that they understand, because they were here to look at our system. So the reciprocal part, which we have actually sent people to both Germany and England, is to look at what they're doing. And so this part of the trip was learning more or less from Montgomery County. So we get an opportunity to learn from them as well.
Let's transition now to recreation and the youth summit that was recently held as well. This has always been part of a good opportunity for you to hear during the last few years. By the way, my son Daniel was part of that youth advisory committee, a member many years ago when you first installed it. And you got to listen from youth in our community. Considering the political environment and the activism from youth across the country in the last few months, what did you hear from our county youth?
Well, some things have not changed, and some things I think are in fact different. For example, you know, I was growing up as a youth, and many times in the past we always complained about the food in the cafeteria. That seemed to
Pizza was pretty bad back then.
But the things that have changed, for example, people are concerned about violence in schools, the unprecedented level of bullying in schools. And those are the kinds of things that have in fact changed. I'm sure that and I know that we had some acts of bullying, but it was a different level of bullying because you can do so now by way of the social media in a way that you cannot have done in the past. When people talk about violence, it's not just someone getting involved in a fight and there's a rock or brick thrown here or there in the crowd. We're talking about live fire, ammunition, guns. And so those kinds of things have changed. And students reflected all of those things. And I was quite impressed with their engagement. I was quite impressed with their knowledge about some of the issues that are occurring, not only here in Montgomery County, but around the nation as well. Well, I try to convey to them a number of things that I would hope that they would do. One, I hope that they would participate, continue to participate, to be engaged, be actively involved in what is happening in and around their community. I hope that they would be persistent, because oftentimes young people have the notion that once they ask for something, and once they demand something, or once they participate, and they don't get immediate responses, there's no quid pro quo in an instant, that they may go off and find that the system does not work for them quite well. And then I also ask them to play within the rules, that there are rules that are established for a variety of things. And so if you play within those rules, whatever those rules may be in terms of society, whether or not it's in your family, whether it's in school, whether it's in society generally. So there's just 3 Ps, that you participate, that you be persistent about the things that you want and believe in, and that you play by the rules, the 3 Ps.
And they were good listeners.
I think so.
Summer season, it's fast approaching, I guess. We're not officially in summer yet, but soon we will be. A couple of things, weather storms for the season, emergency management, of course, wants county residents to be prepared for weather storms. Mosquito season, it's around the corner, and libraries have extended hours.
Oh yeah,
the weather on libraries.
Well, let's deal with the weather. First of all, in summertime we have sometimes a number of storms that occur, but take just recently, just the persistent level of rain that we've had. And we have not received the full blunt of what the weather may be during the summer. So people need to be prepared, be warned about when you hear weather alerts. Take them seriously, because it's very quickly you could have rushing waters and streams. And in the car, when they say turn around, don't drown, listen to the advice there. Libraries are designed in the summer to make sure that we provide access to as many people as possible, because it's an opportunity to continue the learning process that people have started in school. We don't want to lose any momentum that has been created, and it's a great opportunity for family and young people to continue to learn.
And also to stay cool.
That's right.
Thank you, Mr. Leggett, for joining us today.
Yeah,
for you watching at home, do remember, any further information, do visit montgomerycountymd.gov. I'm Lorna Virgili, and thank you for watching.
In Montgomery County, we have a goal to reduce waste and recycle 70% of all waste by 2020. By recycling and reducing waste, we save natural resources and make our community even better. So recycle at home, work, school, everywhere, and keep recycling going. For more information, call the Montgomery County, Maryland Division of Solid Waste Services at 311 or visit montgomerycountymd.gov/recycling.
Keep it going.
Recycle more now.
Swimming can be a great way to stay cool and beat the summer heat. Hi, I'm Gabe Albernaz, Director of the Montgomery County Recreation Department, and I'd like to ask you to be our partner in making this a safe summer. Drowning is a leading cause of accidental deaths in children, but drowning can be avoided. By following a few important rules, we can ensure that our children are safe at the pools. Regardless of swimming ability, children should never be unsupervised, even with lifeguards. There is no substitution for adult supervision. Minimize distractions such as cell phones. Drowning can happen in minutes. If you have to leave the pool for any reason, you need to take your children with you. Inflatable swimming aids such as floaties and noodles are not life safety devices. Do not substitute these for supervision either. By working together, we can make sure we are all safe at the pool this summer.